I'm going to continue from where I last left off on creating your custom audience. And now that we have already done that, I'm going to show you how to create the Facebook ad retargeting. So what you want to do right off the bat is that in campaigns, you're going to create a conversion campaign. Now I'm going to show you one of my immediate examples right now. It's easier that way. But if you want to backtrack things, you want to start with campaigns, click create, and then we're going to go to conversions, and then you can call it retargeting name of the campaign. All right. Now I'm not going to actually do this because I want to show you an existing one that I had already done, so it's easier for you to see. So right here, this is one of my retargeting campaigns, and this worked pretty good. All right. So this is for people who have joined my PLR Mastery and they got my free ebook, and I have a special subscriber deal where I sell my private label books for just $1 each, and that's like a no-brainer. All right. So what I do here is I created this retargeting campaign. I'm going to just check it out really quick. This is the ad set here. Okay. So here's how you create an ad set like this. Okay, you can create from scratch. You can give it a name right away, retargeting, and then the name of the offer. So conversions, you're going to have to choose purchase. All right, there's nothing else. Just choose purchase for your conversion here. Dynamic creative, you can live this out. Budget and schedule. Now, normally when it comes to retargeting, I always just put $5. Unless you're expecting a lot more traffic, then you can up the budget in some cases. But I would start for as low as $5. And don't worry, if you're not going to really use up $5 a day for the next 30 days. In fact, in 1 month, I only spent maybe $20 or so for retargeting, but I make back a lot more because retargeting is still dirt cheap. You're only targeting people who have been to your site but didn't take a specific action, and that's what it is. So you can just leave the daily budget at $5. Now here's an interesting thing. Audience, custom audience, you're going to select the audience that we had created earlier. All right, so this is a working campaign. I created an audience like this already, and what you do is you select custom audience, and then you select the type of people that you want to target. So this is my custom audience. All right. If you remember the video views and the visitors that we had created just now, this is where it belongs. Okay. Locations, you can leave this blank, or you can just put worldwide. You can actually just put worldwide if you want to. That means everyone in the world. Okay. This is totally up to you because this offer is universal. I sell to a mass market where anyone in the world can actually be buying the product, but this is just retargeting. Okay, you can either leave this blank or you can just leave it worldwide. Okay, age, the maximum and the minimum 18 to 65 plus, anybody, unless you are very specific about who you want to retarget, that's okay, but I generally leave it alone. Gender, all, languages, preferably just English, all right, because my whole thing is in English anyway. Okay, detailed targeting, this one you can afford to leave it up and leave it blank, because all this ad does exclusively target is the custom audience. This is probably the most important part of this step-by-step tutorial right now. Okay, connections, let's leave this alone. Ad placement, I'm really particular about this, but in this case, I wanted to choose everything. But if you want to do like what I've been teaching you all this while, you can have everything except the audience network. Okay. You can have everything except the audience network, that's fine. And then bottom down here, conversion, 7 days click or 1 day view. This part has not changed at all. All right. So you can see that this is how you create the retargeting. Okay. Now I'm not going to actually change this. Just want to show you how it works. All right. So once you create a retargeting, then just like creating a normal ad, you have to come up with the ad for this, and this is one of the ads that I'm running, or almost the only, I think it's just the only one. Okay, so I created an ad here where I put my Facebook page, Instagram, so that people who go to Instagram can also see the same ad. And if you watch my previous video, then you know that you will want to limit the number of characters in your ad to like 2,000 characters and no more than that. Okay, keep it less. So this is my ad. And this picture here is not my picture or anything like that. It's actually a stock photo, and I thought this is pretty good. So sometimes Facebook ads can come up with some really good stock photos. If it grabs attention, just do it, okay? So in this case, I run a no-brainer deal, 9 private label ads for $1 each, okay? I'm running a special subscriber deal only, okay? You can get it all at this link. So if you're wondering why I can write it like this and be very specific about who I'm targeting, is because That's exactly what I just said. People who have already joined my mailing list, they've already opted in, therefore they get to see this special offer running right now. You're not going to see this ad run to the public because people who have no idea who I am or no idea what this is about, obviously they're not going to respond to this offer. So I want to have you know that this is doing currently about, this whole funnel for this offer is doing about $3 to $4 earnings per click because of all the funnels that I put at the back. So that's how powerful a funnel can be. And this is currently doing a 5 times return on ad spend. Okay, so this is how you do a retargeting. I'm not going to run through the ad creatives again because I taught this in another video, but I just want to show you how a retargeting actually works. And once you save it, and voila, you will have this retargeting ad running only to people who have been to a certain web page or a website. And you can also do the same retargeting for people who are on your buyers list as well, and you can add them into your custom audience. Okay, so that's all there is to it for the basic retargeting. You can get better at practice, and once you're ready, I can show you some advanced retargeting as well. So speak soon. Alright, in this video, I'm going to show you how to maximize your campaigns with a campaign budget optimization, or CBO in short. So this is probably something that you might have heard from other internet marketers, or when you're creating your Facebook advertisements for the first time, you would have definitely come across this campaign budget optimization. Now the rule of thumb is that when you're just starting out, especially on a low budget like $5 to $10 a day, you probably don't even need to use this at all. So most of the time you would have turned this off. But with that said, when do you start using campaign budget optimization, or CBO in short? When do we start actually doing that? Okay. Now, first of all, you need to understand what CBO actually does. So to put it very simply, campaign budget optimization distributes your budget across all your ad sets, and it's going to funnel to where it gets the most promising results. So for example, if you're running about 5 to 10 different ad sets right now, and what it's going to do is that you're basically trusting Facebook to distribute the daily budget across all the ad sets. All right, so let me just show you a quick example over here. All right, now this is a campaign, a conversions campaign, which is currently turned off. I'm going to turn it on afterwards so we can have a look at it. And as you can see here, that this had spent about $2,100. Okay, and historically there had been quite a number of ad sets that were run, a total of 19 of them. And this is with the CBO currently turned on. But when it started, it wasn't like that, okay? Normally, when you start running a campaign for the very first time, you will want to put an allocated budget to each ad set. So for example, if I were to test all these 19 ad sets, I'd probably put $5 to $10 a day, all right? So let's just say for math simplicity, we're going to put $10 a day. That means 19 ad sets times 10 would have been $190 a day, all right? And we're going to run this for like a few days. And what's going to happen in a few days is that we're going to see that some ad sets will perform and the rest will not, okay? And after running this for quite some time, I've decided that what constitutes as a good cost per lead will be anything $3 and below, all right? Anything that with a $3 per lead and below for this webinar campaign, I would consider it as good. So at this point, if I were to reactivate this campaign, I'm only going to run ad sets that have a very good cost per lead. So let's just take a look at each of them in particular. Like this one over here, it's been running for quite a while, 3 leads at $6. I'm going to probably turn this off, okay? I'm going to turn this off. And if you want to select multiple ad sets that you want to edit, what you can do is you can make use of the checkbox here. I'm going to select anything that is above $3, okay? Anything above $3, which is, yeah, about this one. And I'm going to click on edit and turn off. There we go. Bear in mind that what you're seeing here right now is a campaign that has ran for quite some time. We spent about $2,000 over here. And again, whether you want to spend this much or not is totally up to you. Everyone's got their own preferences. But what I want to do right now, I'm using this as an example where I'm going to start running ad sets that has been proven to have a $3 per lead and below. So I'm going to select everything that's $3 and below. Okay, which is about this. Okay, all right. Okay, I'll still consider this. Okay, this is like $3.07. Okay, you know what? I might still consider this. It's only like overshot a little. That's okay. All right. And there we go. So we've got quite some ad sets that had performed $3 and below. Okay, and I'm gonna put them to turn on. All right. Now, depending on how many ad sets that you're editing at a time, this might take several seconds. So we're just gonna leave it at that. And there we go. All right. So what's going to happen now is that I'm taking all the winning ad sets right now, and I'm going to restart this campaign again. So we have a total of, how many ads do we have here? Okay. We have about 12 selected. So if you want to see how many we've selected, you can just take a look at the top here. We have 12 ad sets that are selected. And the next question that you might ask is, how much budget should I set aside for this CBO campaign? So typically, for every one ad set, I put at least $5 or $10 for that matter. It's totally up to you. But I wouldn't recommend anything below $5 US. So let's just say I'm playing on a bare minimum right now. 12 times 5 would be about, I'd say, that would be $60 if I'm not mistaken. All right, let me just do a quick math here. So I'm going to make sure that my math is not bad. Okay, $60, okay. I'll probably put anywhere from $60 to $120. So let's just say I want to run this at $60. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart this campaign by turning this on. And I'm going to click on edit this campaign. And I'm going to change this to $60. All right, $60. Because if you put anything really like a small number, like anything below $5 per ad set, what's going to happen is that Facebook is going to struggle to distribute the budget to even the winning ad sets. All right, so this is why you don't want to put anything too low. And if you're not keen on spending even this amount as well, what you want to do is you want to reduce the number of ad sets. Okay, so with that said, I just want to say that for as many ad sets that you're running in a single campaign, I'll allocate $5 to $10 to that. So we have got 12 campaigns, 12 ad sets running right now. So I'll put at least the bare minimum $60. And if I want to run just 10 ad sets, I'll put this at $50 for that matter. Okay, so I hope this part makes sense. And as a closing note, should any beginners ever run CBO for a start? I do not recommend that, because when you're starting out, it is better to test various ad sets, that means various targeting, to see which one performs better. And after quite a while, you will probably have a few winning ad sets like what you're seeing here right now. And we'll start running CBO campaigns only at a second stage. So I hope this helps. What's up? And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can tidy up your account a little bit, because as time goes on, you would have added quite a number of page posts, created a lot of ads, you would have uploaded quite some media like images and videos which you wind up not really using, and as time goes on, you would have cluttered your ad account for sure. So I want to show you two places where you can do a little bit of spring cleaning if you would like to. And let's start off with the media library. So how do we access the media library? Is by going to your business.facebook.com or logging into your business account and hit to the top left menu and scroll down to media library, and we'll end up on a page like this. So by default, you will be able to click on your ad account, which is where we're at right now. This is just an example. And as you can see in this particular account, we have uploaded quite some images and videos, and we're not going to use all of them. So if you want to delete any of this by any chance, we'll click on one of them, for example. And you can see at the bottom right, there is an option to delete image. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But be careful though, because if this image is being used for any advertisement, it is going to definitely ruin your ad. So what's going to happen is that if you delete this advertisement right now, or rather I would say you delete this image, the advertisement that is using this image will still be running, but with another thumbnail, which is probably a default lifted off from that page itself. So you're going to be extra careful with what you're deleting here, all right? But in this case, I'm really going to do just that. So I'm going to click continue, and we're done. Okay, so this is just an example. I'll just click on another one as well. All right, or maybe another one here, and I'm just gonna delete this. Okay, now that's not all. The next thing I want to show you is page posts. So how do we access the page posts? Is by going to the top left menu again and click on page posts. So it's right somewhere at the bottom of the list here. So it takes a bit of effort to scroll down here. So go on to page posts, and you'll see the amount of posts that we have published for, whether it's as content for the FB page, schedule, and especially you want to take notice of the advertisements. All right. Now, whether you realize this or not, every time you make any edits or a copy of advertisements that you already have, it's just going to make clones of it with different IDs. So visually, it might look the same to you, but on the back office, you can see that there's like multiple IDs for a very similar advertisements. And again, if you want to keep things a little bit neat, what you want to do is you want to click on the page post that you would like to delete. Like for example, this is the one, and all right, you can see actions up here. All right, click on delete, and you'll be prompt, this post will be permanently deleted. Which again, I just want to remind you to be cautious about it, because if this advertisement is still being ran or it's active, if you delete this, then obviously you won't be able to run it again. So before you delete anything, you just want to be extra careful that the advertisement is no longer being run right now. Okay, so that's just a little tip on how you can tidy up your ad account a little bit, so you minimize the amount of clutter that you have. What should you do if or when your ad account gets disabled? So if you're watching this video right now, either A, you had this happen to you, or B, you're just curious to know what will happen to you as you run Facebook ads more and more, and maybe you should be mentally prepared as well. Now, I want you to know that having an ad account that gets shut down, that gets disabled or restricted is part and parcel of running Facebook ads, and no one is exempted from this. You have people that spend a few $100s a month to people that spend hundreds and thousands to even millions of dollars a month, and this kind of things still does happen. Okay, so should it happen to you, and there's a high likelihood that will as you run Facebook ads more and more, I just want you to be mentally prepared and know that this is just part and parcel of running on one of the most advertised social media platforms in the planet. Okay, and when you do, don't freak out. Okay, you might get an email like this: ad account disabled for policy violation. Now I'm showing this to you in a form of a screenshot because I don't have an actual account that I can show this to you right now, because either they've already been appealed successfully or they're already in the graveyard somewhere. Okay, so anyways, I want to prepare you on how to get your account back should this happen to you. Now sometimes you might find that when you're editing your advertisements or randomly a glitch happens and your ad account gets disabled, even though you didn't do anything wrong and you have followed the policy to the letter. All right, or maybe you could be operating in a niche that is non-controversial at all. All right, so don't freak out. What you want to do is that you want to appeal. All right, so you want to appeal, and they'll probably give you a link right off the bat. If you find this to be a mistake, give us more information and you'll be able to click on the link and arrive at a simple form like this. All right, is this an account? You're going to put yes and provide information. Now, you don't really have a lot to write here, to be very frank. The word count or the character count is quite limited, but here's the thing. You never want to admit your mistake or be apologetic. Now, I know this might sound strange, it might sound counterintuitive and even douchey for that matter, but I find that a lot of people tend to just say sorry even when they really didn't make a mistake. But what's happening here is that you're putting into writing for the internal team to use it as a reason against you. All right, you've admitted your guilt in writing, and we're going to stand by our final decision to keep your account restricted or disabled. All right, and take it from me, I've done this mistake so many times that I learned it the hard way. Okay, so what you want to do is like never admit your mistake. Instead, you want to word your appeal that you have read the ads policy, and make sure you do, by the way. All right, so you know what you're talking about. You are compliant with all the ads policy, it's compliant whatsoever, and you didn't do anything wrong. So please review and reinstate my account. That should be the way you word your appeal. Okay, now if you didn't do anything wrong and everything should be fine, you will have your account back. So this can take anywhere from a few hours to up to 3 days in my experience. Now, I'm not saying this will happen to everybody. I just find that having this happen to me so many times, this can be from a few hours to 3 days that you can get your account back, and you will get an email that goes something like this. All right, this will be the best email to receive, the best good news. It will be a sigh of relief, and you can continue advertising. But I do advise that in the meantime, if while you're ahead, you might want to open more than one ad account, and if possible, more than one Facebook business account. To what I know, one profile can open a maximum of 2 business accounts. You can do just that. If you have a family member or a spouse or a business partner, between among you guys, you can actually open multiple business accounts. And the reason why I recommend that is to spread your risk and diversify it so that you can continue running your advertisements uninterrupted, okay, without any delays whatsoever. Now, with that said, there will still always be a chance that your Facebook business account or ad account will be permanently disabled. And sometimes this could be, well, it could generally be your mistake for not complying by their ads policy. So for example, if you're operating in a sensitive market like weight loss and you're using choice of words that are sensitive or just doesn't comply with the Facebook ads policy, then they do reserve the right to permanently disable your account. And at this point, you have no choice but to use another new ad account elsewhere with a different identity whatsoever. And just be careful not to repeat the same mistakes again. And this usually comes down to the choice of words, like, losing weight, for example, all right, fat, and things like that, okay? Now, when it comes to make money, this is another sensitive, controversial market where people use very blatant words like, make money while you sleep, passive income, autopilot. Now, these are words that you really want to avoid. And let's just say you ever have your ad account disabled for these reasons, you might want to start looking at the choice of words that you're using. Do not use back the same advertisements. Do not use back those kind of words again, all right? So you just live and let learn. Now, I think the reason why I'm going at lengths about this whole matter is because there's been a lot of people that give up on Facebook advertising after seeing some results, and then when this happened to them, they give up or they take too long to recover. Like they might take a few months to try to get another account and things like that. But ideally, you want to be able to continue your operations within the same day with another ad account. But of course, be cautious. Don't repeat the same mistakes of the first ad account that got disabled in the first place. Okay? So I hope this helps. And have fun marketing on Facebook. It's still very profitable and it's still the best social media platform for advertising on this planet. Okay, this is going to be a very short video and very straight to the point. But at the same time, I know that some people that run Facebook ads might struggle with this on an emotional and psychological level as well. So when you run advertisements, you can almost always expect that you're gonna get spam comments and some really rude comments that's totally unfounded, like this one over here. Now, I just want you to know that this is part and parcel of running Facebook ads, because when you run ads, it's always going to a cold audience, and some of them might just project their insecurities or their negative thoughts onto your post, no matter how well-intentioned you are. So the short and very straightforward answer is to just hide, delete, and ban, really. So I don't personally think it's a good idea for you to engage with this kind of comments unless you are considered a witty person or you're going to build quite some goodwill that I do not know, okay? But the short answer is don't waste your energy on that. I want you to focus on conversions and the end results. So how do we remove comments like this and ban them? It's quite simply by clicking on the command here. We click on hide command, and then we'll click on ban the person, and then finally we just click on delete, and we're done. Simple. After running your campaign for quite some time, have you ever wondered where your leads are really coming from, where your customers are hailing from? Are they seeing this from Facebook? Are they seeing from Instagram? What is the age group like? Who's responding most? Okay, are they seeing this on desktop or mobile? And the way to find out all of this, it's all in the data, and I'm going to show you how to do just that. This is really exciting stuff when you log into your ads manager. So this is just one of the simple test accounts right now, and if you take a look at this particular campaign, it's running a lead generation conversion objective. Okay, so far for this particular month, it's generated slightly more than 115 leads at a cost per lead of $131 US. So this is on the campaign level. Let's take a look at ad sets. Okay, what's really interesting here is that you can take a look at a breakdown on any level, but preferably you take a look at it on a campaign or an ad set level. So I tell you what, let's just double back on campaign, because this is the more of like an overarching view, and we'll take a look at breakdown. So it's at the top right menu here. You can check out by time or delivery or by action, but normally you want to take a look at delivery, and this is probably where you're going to take a look at the breakdown most of the time. So let's take a look at age. So if you take a look at this, it seems that, yeah, it's quite fascinating when you take a look at the data here, and it seems that majority of the signups are from the age groups of 35 to 44, followed by 25 to 34 years old, and then by 45 to 54, and then 55 to 64. So it's really, really interesting when you take a look at all that. And if you want to take a look by gender as well, so we see that male has like 94, followed by female, and uncategorized for some reason there's just like 1 over here. So you might get that kind of thing occasionally. All right. You can also take a look by country. If you're targeting multiple countries, in this case, this particular campaign was running to only 3 simple countries: Singapore, Malaysia, and Canada. So it's quite straightforward. But if you're kind of curious to know about the region, so region could mean state or county, depending on the country that you're in right now. Like Japan, they go by prefecture. So if you take a look at Singapore, Singapore is just a single island, so there's only so much you can break down, okay? But when you take a look at Malaysia, it's got, of course, multiple states, and you can see that the breakdown here. Selangor has the most signups, followed by Kuala Lumpur, which shouldn't be a surprise because these are the 2 most populated states in the country, all right? And this will also be the same for other countries like, Canada. This particular campaign ran only for a short while. We've got 3 from British Columbia, 2 from Ontario, and so on. All right. Of course, with a much more matured campaign, you will get more data. But I just want to show you how you can actually take a look at a breakdown, and let's take a look at platform as well. Okay. So if you don't know whether your leads are coming from Facebook or Instagram, this is the place to look at. So if you want to have a look at the overarching view for this particular campaign, it seems that we have 105 leads that came from Facebook and 10 from Instagram, which is quite cool. Now, this really depends on the nature of your niche. In some markets or some products, do not be surprised if you get more actions from Instagram than you do from Facebook. Ultimately, they're all owned by the same company anyway. And if you want to take a look at breakdown, delivery, and also have a look at the device, all right? So let's take a look at impression device. You can see that a lot of the leads are coming from Android smartphone, all right? Android smartphone, and we have a distant second, which is like half of the results, like iPhone. And if you take a look at desktop, this is really interesting. Like desktop has only like 6 leads, and I think this goes to show that this is the rise of mobile marketing. Most people are viewing and surfing websites from their phone nowadays, and they take action from your phone. So it does make sense that you want to make your landing page or sales page as mobile optimized as possible. So that means you want to reduce loading time, image file sizes, your hosting speed, and things like that. Okay, and I think another thing we can take a look at is time of the day. Now this is really up to you whether it's ad account time zone or viewers time zone. Normally, if you're viewing for the same time zone, that's okay, but maybe we take a look at time of the day according to the viewer's time zone, assuming you are targeting multiple countries. And this is kind of a good indicator of like when are your target market usually active in the day. So you can see here that the numbers are quite spread out a little bit, but you can see that this is rather consistent throughout the 24 hours, except for like 4 to 6 a.m. you don't really have like any signups at all. But it goes to show when are people usually actively taking action on your offer in the 24 hours. So you can see that this is all like eye-opening views. It can help you strategize when you're going to put in more budget as well. And if you think this only goes by the day, you can also take a look at the, I would say, the day as well, all right? On which particular day that they are taking more actions, okay? So maybe just go by the day here and see what happens. Okay, there we go. So I'd rather to be exact, this is by the date, all right? So anyways, if you want to clear all this breakdown, it might look a bit confusing initially. So you can go back to breakdown, select none, and we'll select none for this one as well. And we're back to this. If you're watching this video right now, you're probably determined to take your Facebook advertising to the next level. And watch this video only if you have already started running Facebook ads, you're spending some money, or at the very least, you're running your campaign for the last few days. Because what's going to happen next is that I'm going to share with you some of the things that you can do to take your Facebook ads and optimize it to what I just call it, the next level again, all right? So this is something that you're going to discover very soon, that how you scale your Facebook advertising campaign is somewhat different than when you're just starting out. Because when you're spending a small budget like 5, 10, 20, or even $50 to $100 a day, that is still considered a small daily budget. But when you're spending amounts like hundreds and thousands of dollars in a single day, you're gonna find that results do not scale very linearly. And the reason why that happens is because as you scale on Facebook advertising, you find that your profit margins tend to get thinner. You're trying to reach your advertisement to serve it to a lot more people. And with that said, of course, if you're getting like a 2 to 4 times return on ad spend, sometimes you might even get a 5 to 10 times return on ad spend, depending on how deep the funnel is. But as you start spending more money, you realize that it's just not going to scale in a very linear manner. So what's going to happen in this video training is that I want to prepare you mentally on how to troubleshoot, how to optimize your advertisements and your targeting as you run Facebook ads. Okay. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about scaling. All right. If your ad is converting, it is time to scale. But with that said, scale cautiously. And I'm probably not the first marketer to tell you this. Let's say, for example, you're spending about $100 a day as an example, okay? And let's just say you're getting a 4 times return on ad spend. And that's fantastic, because if you're spending $100 and you're getting $400 in return, what is really stopping you from throwing like your life savings and making this work? But again, as I've cautioned you just now, it doesn't quite work that way. So when you're scaling your winning ad set, what you want to do is you want to do it gradually. So you want to increase your daily ad spend like by 20 to 30% of ad spend increase, and you don't do it any more than that. Okay, why is that the case? That's because if you're spending $100 a day, you probably want to just edit the budget and change it to like $120 or $130 a day. That's probably what you're going to do. Okay, and if you're thinking about, all right, but I'm actually ready to spend more money than that, I'm ready to spend, you know, like a few $100s in a single day. So what you want to do is that you can make a duplicate of that winning ad set and duplicate it like 3 or 4 times. So for example, if you have a $100 per day ad set that's doing very well and you intend to spend $300 a day, so instead of just editing that campaign or that ad set and change it to $300 a day, what you want to do is you want to duplicate that ad set 3 times, or sorry, another 2 more times, and at $100 each. Because what's happening here is that you'll find that Facebook will optimize the ads a lot better than if you try to chuck everything into a single ad set. Now, don't ask me, I'm not the one who made Facebook, okay, but we just find that this seems to work. And just be ready that as you scale, profit margin gets thinner. So don't plunk your money in drastically, okay? So when you're spending like $300 to $400 a day as an example, you're not gonna get a 4 times return most of the time, all right? You might end up with like 2 times return or even like 1.5 times. And I'm just making this up, by the way. And you might do better than that possibly because of your funnel. I just wanna say that it's quite normal to get a high return on ad spend when you're spending very little. And as you scale, your advertisement gets served to more less targeted people. And of course, there's a human dynamics as well. Some people may not warm up to your advertisement initially. They might take some time to get used to it, or something may have changed, or they might make a buying decision afterwards, all right? So I just want to let you know that as you scale, it's not going to be linear. But what's more important is that as long as you are profitable, you're making more money than you spend, that's all that matters. Okay. Now, what happens if the advertisements that you're running is not performing, or your hunch is telling you that you could be doing better? Okay. So this is where I always say, always be testing. Always try different message angles, test different images, test different videos. Now, I know some people tend to get lazy when it comes to testing things out. They might get lucky on a beginner's luck. They put out 1 or 2 advertisements. It seems to hit a home run, and then they stop running or coming up with new advertisements after this. And to me, this is a really huge mistake and a wasted opportunity, because sometimes you might get lucky with a beginner's luck. Some people might resonate and jive with your message initially, but after a while, there might be user fatigue. People might just get bored of the same message again and again and again. So this is where you want to come up with fresh messages that resonates with people. Try different images, try different videos, whether it's short, whether it's long. For example, if you're doing a make money or internet business niche, what are the pain points that people tend to resonate with? Are they fed up of their jobs? Are they sick and tired of stuck in a traditional business? Are they fed up with competitors? Are they struggling with rising costs? All right. So what I just named to you is just some of the different message angles that you could be attacking. All right. Let's talk about losing weight. All right. Some people don't just do it for the sake of losing weight. Some people do it for self-esteem reasons. Some people are doing it for sex. All right. And these are things that people really jive in, but of course don't use the word sex in your ad, by the way, right? And I'm talking about some sensitive markets. You want to be careful with your choice of words. This is something that I talk about in my other parts of my training videos. I just want to say that at the end of the day, there are different motivational triggers for different types of people, and it's your job to keep testing different advertisements, different messages that would resonate with the people, because you can be selling the same product, but you could be marketing to different types of people. All right. Number 3, okay, in your ad set, you will notice that a lot of people tend to use automatic placements where they let Facebook decide where to distribute their budget into various platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network. But if I could just give you a little tip here, I would prefer that you skip Audience Network. And what is Audience Network? If you're not aware of what it is, it's basically the advertisements that got served up on newspaper or news websites like CNN, Fox News, and many more. These are like partner sites that have agreed to run ads on behalf of Facebook. Okay. Now, in my experience, I find that even though Facebook allocates a very small budget daily to Audience Network, it's just not that effective. The state of the people that are watching these advertisements from news sites are usually negative. So, and I also noticed on another thing is that spam bots tend to come in from Audience Network as well. So instead of spending like 10-20% of your daily budget into Audience Network as distributed by Facebook, it is better that you just uncheck or untick the Audience Network and allocate that into the rest like Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. So this is just a slight optimization to help you get the better leads or better cost per result. And yes, so you're kind of wondering what native ads look like when you visit news websites like this. This is where they show your advertisements on. And if you notice, a lot of news websites tend to attract a lot of negative people, and rightfully so, because they always run negative advertisements. Imagine that your offer shows up on news websites where people are already like in a negative state of mind, okay? So don't want to do that. Now, tip number 4, try out long post. All right. So this might sound counterintuitive because a lot of people that try running Facebook ads for the first time, they might intuitively think that running a short-based ad is a lot better because of people's short attention span. We find that writing long posts actually helps get in more targeted audience, because why would that be the case? Number 1, let's talk about the Facebook algorithm or learning machine. The more you write into your post, of course within reasonable limits, the more that you write, it actually helps tell Facebook, a learning machine, that look, this is the kind of audience that I want to hook in, all right? It helps you find a more targeted audience. And we also find that people that bother to read a long post are also more likely to be qualified and interested. Now, if you want to be a little bit more objective about it, I recommend that you put 2,200 characters or under so that it can appear on both Facebook platform and Instagram ads as well. But there's no true limit for Facebook ads, so even if you write longer than this, that's actually fine. But the only drawback is that this will not appear on Instagram, okay? And for any detractors that think that, oh, people will not want to read a long post, and you might have heard of the famous 9-second attention goldfish attention span here. Now, I just want to say that people are not goldfishes, okay? Now, the truth of the matter is, yes, it's true that we are fighting for the most precious commodity right now, and that is attention span. But I want you to know that people are not goldfishes, because you can write a short advertisement, but if they're just not interested in it, you can put 2-3 lines or a short paragraph, and they will still not click on it and take action. Now, on the other hand, if your advertisement jives, okay, and it resonates with the people that it's intended for, you can be writing a short or a long essay, people will still click on it, okay? Tip number 5. So while we're on the topic of long posts, you can also try long videos. Now, most advertisers, for starters, will try doing videos that are below 2 minutes, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But again, falling back on my point earlier that you want to split test as many creatives as possible, you want to have one short video below 2 minutes, and you want to have one long video. that offers more education, more awareness building in your video, and this will help you reel in more qualified leads. And how long should a video be? To be very frank, there's no true length to a video. There's some that can run for like 3 to 5 minutes, and I think that's a good length to look at. You can even run for 5 to 10 minutes. And I've seen videos that run for 2 to 3 hours. There are actually people that upload their entire webinar replay onto a Facebook ad video, okay? And if you're wondering, do people actually watch all the way? That's not true as well. But here's the thing. I've gotten results, I've gotten purchases, I've gotten leads that sign up, and when I look at it, they didn't watch the video all the way, but they did get the idea, alright? It's just like people that read the entire newspaper, they didn't read word for word, but they just browse through the headline and the sub-headlines, they read some parts here and there, they get the idea, and they decided that they want in. And if you review all of your past buying purchases as well, I probably bet you don't actually read every single word that you did or watch the entire video that you've seen, okay? That hardly ever happens, and yet you make buying decisions, you make decisions to sign up for webinars, seminars, or opt-ins, free offers, and anything like that, okay? And number 6, avoid using you and your too often in your ad copy, because this is going to sound counterintuitive, especially to direct response marketers. They will struggle with this normally, okay? Old school direct response marketers normally struggle with this. But you have to understand that when it comes to social media, it's kind of like a networking, a social platform. That's exactly what it is, okay? So you don't want to be adopting a me-to-you communication. You have to treat it like you're in a party. So when you write, you want to be indirect or speak in a very third-party manner. So I'm going to give you some typical bad examples that people write very directly, like, are you fat? Okay, so you don't want to be starting off like that. Or are you facing this problem? You don't want to start off like that. Do you want to find a girlfriend? Clearly not, okay? And even attention real estate agents, to an extent, I do not encourage this way of doing this, because what you're doing is that you're already excluding people and alienating cold audience right off the bat, and this actually indirectly contributes to a bad Facebook ad score overall, okay? Can you imagine that on a more sensitive level, you put something along the lines like, are you a Christian or attention Muslim people? This is obviously going to be kind of like sensitive altogether, so you want to avoid that kind of language. So even if your ideal audience are Christians or people of a certain religious beliefs or a certain niche of people, so what you want to do is you want to word it in an indirect way. Like, we have helped hundreds of people lose weight, or we have helped hundreds of people transform their body and regain their health since the year 2006. Here's how to increase attractiveness without riches or good looks. Or in the last 5 years, I have successfully bought and sold dozens of properties in LA, and here's how I've done it. Okay? So I think you get the idea. You want to basically rephrase everything from a me-to-you communication, first person, to third party. Okay? Tip number 7, use original quality photos. We find that in our experiment, we find that original photos tend to convert better than stock photos, but this doesn't mean that you don't try stock photos at all. Again, you want to split test as many creatives as possible, but of course, stock photos might do well, but original photos, in our experience, tend to do better as well. And you don't really need to work that hard to get original photos, okay? You can even use a DSLR, or even nowadays, any dual camera, like iPhone 6 Plus and above, would pretty much make the cut, or even Huawei P20, P30, okay? Now, I'm not going to put a full list of phone cameras here, because phones are something that evolve very quickly. It can get obsolete like in the next 6 or 12 months for that matter. But I just want to say that any dual camera phones is pretty much good enough. Or you have DSLR, then more power to you. Okay? Tip number 6, use eye-catching thumbnails. So even if you're running video ads, you want to mask it with a thumbnail like this that you're seeing here right now. This is one of a very high-performing ad. And if you're not sure how to create thumbnails, you can pretty much just use Photoshop, or if you don't know how to use Photoshop, you can just go to canva.com. You can open an account for free, and it's very intuitive that I don't even need to show you how to use it here, all right? You can basically use it as an absolute beginner. Get on canva.com, it's free to open, and start creating images for your video thumbnail, all right? So if you look at all the high-performing advertisements that are video-based, they rarely ever use a default video picture or a screenshot from the video itself. They always mask it with a thumbnail that you can pretty much edit. But might I remind you, you don't want to put in too much text. You want to make it below 20% of the overall coverage, okay? And I find that a 1200 times 628 pixels dimension or 16 by 9 wide is the best dimension, all right? And last but not least, as you start building your leads, when you start getting more customers and you hit at least 100 email addresses or 100 phone numbers, what you can do is you can start creating a look-alike audience. So to put it in short, a look-alike audience is a powerful feature by Facebook where you're basically uploading a list of names and you're telling Facebook that you want to find more customers very similar to the list that you have given, all right? And for this to work better, you need to put in a list of a minimum of 100 email addresses and or phone numbers, but email addresses will be more preferred, okay? And of course, the more you have, the better. So if you have like a few hundred or thousands for the matter, that's going to be even better. And you can tell Facebook, I want to find more customers like this. So the way it works is that Facebook works on a percentage basis between 1% to 10%, 1% being the closest percentile towards your choice of audience, 10% being the furthest, okay? Now this is explained in another video training where I show how this is done step by step, but what I want you to know is that as you start getting more leads, more customers, and you hit a minimum of 100 names, email addresses, and or phone numbers, you can start leveraging on lookalike audience, and this is where the fun begins. Now, I know that for some types of businesses, hitting 100 email addresses might seem like a little bit of work at the moment, and that's okay. Until then, you can always use detailed interest and broad targeting, which is getting better and better nowadays as well. All right. So there you have it. These are just some of the 9 methods that you can use to optimize your Facebook advertising and your scaling for that matter. And here's to your marketing success. Last but not least, be patient. Okay, you've got this.